When she goes to bridge and move around, it's difficult. Now I slap the mat, and then I move my knee up to her armpit and join my knee and my elbow together. If I just go here, she just reaches over immediately, catches, and traps. So the second I go to mount, when she goes to trap my foot, go ahead, we come up. And now when she goes to trap that foot, it's impossible. So there's a race going on here. Okay, she can't see your foot, and she has no idea when you're going to mount. She can only feel the shin coming off the hips. Okay, so it's a smack, and then you slide up to the armpit. So my knee and elbow join together. So as we go to race, she's going to try to trap my foot, and I'm going to try to go and slide up into a high mount. Okay, we come here, she's moving around, bridging, doing whatever she wants. And from here, we're ready to go. Now, when she goes to move around, it's a difficult thing. Okay, that's just a very basic mount from side control, moving into mount in a very basic yet precise way. Okay, we've all seen everyone mounted like this, but this is how to do it on the world's best guys. All right, emphasis on shin mounting with your weight leaning towards your forehead. I don't put my weight on my partner's hips because then when she bridges, she carries my weight and can create kazushi much easier. When I slide over and I get the knee to the floor, my goal when I'm moving from a shin mount, the intermediary step, into a mount, the stable position, is to slap the floor with my foot and then immediately slide my knee up to my partner's armpit, connect my knee and my elbow, and get my heel or foot connected to my partner's hip. Okay? This will make it almost impossible for your partner to bridge effectively or trap your legs in a half guard. Okay? Now we're going to look at if I go to start mounting my partner, she pulls the elbow down and gives a big, strong bridge in the direction I'm trying to mount and looks to off-balance me. How can we avoid an explosive guy just bridging me over as I go to mount them? All right, so now we're going to look at the same move we just did, but instead of our partner trying to reach over and trap my leg in half guard, she's going to try to pull the elbow down and just bridge in the same direction that I'm driving to mount. So as my momentum goes across the body, she bridges across the body and can get me off balance. Okay? You have to understand that the only way that this will work is you're under the assumption that you have your partner's knee or arm isolated. Okay? No amount of body positioning is going to stop you from getting bridged over against an explosive guy if they have a hand in the hip. So what that means is this will only work, what I'm about to show you, if your partner's knee or arm is isolated on my hip. If my partner has a hand on my hip, there's no amount of body position that's going to stop me. If she just explosively bridges and pushes with the hand, she's always going to elevate my hips over, provided she's, the same size or bigger or more explosive than I am. Okay? The hand on the hip is so powerful. Your hip's coming up, you're driving across. One push that hand is going to get you off balance and the elbow's going to get trapped. Okay? So this body positioning to counter the bridge will only work provided that your partner's hand is shelved on the hip and she doesn't have that driving force of the hand on the hip. Okay? So that makes it imperative that we trap our partner's knee or elbow up on the hip like so. So now when she has to push my hip, obviously she can't do it. Okay? Now this time we're going to look to go in. We shin mount initially, and this time we drive into mounted position. Now instead of her trying to trap, this time she gives a big bridge. She attempts to pull her elbow down. Now she goes to bridge, and she gets me either completely over or severely off balance. Then I have to pull this hand out, and then she's going into all of her escapes. Okay? Whenever I see this, I'm going to look to step a leg up, and I'm going to look to put a wedge behind my partner's far buttocks. Okay, so what this will look like is she goes to bridge to one side, my foot will come up like so, and then I'll put a wedge behind my partner's far buttocks like so that my shin is in line with her hips, and from here I have a heel connected to her hip on the other side. Okay, this way when she goes to bridge me over, she'll pull me into her own hips. So my left leg creates a wedge behind her hips that anchors me in place. So as I go to drive across, I go shin mount, and now the second I go to dismount is when she'll go to bridge. Okay? Because as I go to dismount, that's when all of my weight is leaned to one side. Now from here, the second she goes to bridge, I move to a situation like so. Okay? Now, from here, as she goes to continue to bridge, it's a very, very difficult thing to do. All right? And you see actually my thigh and knee are actually more on my partner's upper back because I'm mounting from a side control. If I was doing it from mount, it would be behind the lower back and buttocks. But right now, it actually ended up high on my partner's scapula instead. Okay, but the concept is still the same. From here, as she goes to bridge, I catch my partner in a situation where the bridge now is very ineffective because my weight isn't over her hips. And two, I have a wedge behind my partner's body with my left leg. Okay? So the goal is to, one, take the power off of the bridge by raising your hips so that your partner bridges and there's no hip-to-hip connection. And two, put a wedge behind your partner's body so that even if she does get a strong bridge off initially, you have a wedge behind your partner's back anchoring you to her. All right? So as I go to start sliding from a shin mount into a mount, I lean my weight into my forehead. My forehead's going to be used to post out here somewhere. So as I go to mount, she goes to bridge. We move into a situation like so. So now she goes to bridge and turn. We put a wedge behind our partner's back. And now when she goes to move around from this position, she can't. She's forced to move back down to a position where from here she goes flat, and then we slide up into our same position we were in before. Okay? So we'll go in. We go shin mount. The second my foot hits the floor, she's going to try to explosively bridge to her left. So we're playing here. My knee hits the floor. Now as my foot hits the floor, we're in a situation like so. Now when she goes to escape, if she goes at a secondary bridge, it's a very difficult thing. And now as she goes to come back down, I just settle, I open the elbow, and then I slide my right knee up. Okay? So when your partner goes to explosively bridge to one side, if I feel like my elbow position is compromised, we're looking to change our body position so there's no hip-to-hip contact, and I have a wedge behind my partner's body anchoring me into place. Okay? All I need is my heel connected to my butt or connected to my partner's hip, and my knee and quadricep connected somewhere behind my partner's body. Okay? In this case, in side control, it was the mid to upper back. When we look at this same move from mount, it'll be lower back and buttocks. Okay? And if you actually see when I passed, a good example of this is when I passed Vinicius at ADCC, he tried to hit an explosive bridge, and I used the same method to stay mounted on him. Okay, because he was pretty explosive. All right, so this is two good ways now to mount from a basic top-headed arm using a shin mount. Both when our partner tries to use a half guard ankle trap and reach over, or start with an explosive bridge and use the bridge to create motion and then go into an escape. So now we're going to look at, instead of using a top-headed arm to mount, transferring over to using either an under-over or double underhooks. All right, now there are many reasons why you end up here instead of a top-headed arm. Maybe you pass from a half guard into a side control and you have double unders or an under-over, and you want to look to mount. Or maybe you find that you're in side control and you feel like you just can't isolate your partner's knee or arm. Or you feel like you're pummeling with your legs, but for whatever reason, you just can't get your partner's far arm up to the hip. So we're going to look to go in and use our arm to isolate our partner's near side arm instead. Okay? So she's going to be down. And for whatever reason, I either passed and I ended up here, or I feel like my partner's hand is inside, my partner's elbow is inside my hip, and I feel like for whatever reason, I just cannot get that arm shelved. I can't isolate it with my legs. Whenever I see this, I'm initially going to circle towards my partner's hips, like so. Now, I'm going to look to come in, and again, I don't want my partner's forearm coming to the inside position, because I want to fight my head back to the inside, as we spoke about previously. Once my head's inside, I keep my chin connected to my partner's shoulder like so. So that when she goes to bring that hand back inside, it's a difficult thing. Now I take my hand and I post to my partner's head. And I just make a quick push where I move my head from one side to the other. And now the choice is yours. From this position, we can either one, go under the elbow, lift past the hips and take an overhook, or we can go inside the elbow, inside the elbow, and then from here, we can go to double underhooks. Okay. Typically, what I use, my cue for whether I go with an overhook or an underhook, is my partner's elbow position. If I find my partner's elbow is on, or her hand's on my hip and her elbow's far away from the body, then I go underhook. If I see my partner's elbow's close to the body, that's hard, obviously, for me to punch a strong underhook in here, then I go overhook.